Welcome to your weekly recap of Deadlock Fight Night number 11. I'm Jake, and I'll be breaking down the action for you this week. This week's tournament opened with one win team, a new challenger in DFN, taking on the well-known Buff Enjoyers, who were coming in hot off the back of a championship win in the Maelstrom Masters. The draft kicked off with one win team securing Viscous, and Buff Enjoyers responding with Mikhail's ever-dominant Paradox and a Calico for Listic. In the end, Buff Enjoyers drafted heavy on frontline and AoE, while one win team leaned into a highly mobile style with massive ranged poke damage. It seemed early on that the teams were closely matched, as one win team was able to keep Buff Enjoyers on the back foot with good lane pressure, while the veteran defenders kept the soul deficit to a minimum. One win team kept up the pressure though as they pushed down the lane 1 Walker, opening their second flex spot while holding Buff Enjoyers to 0.
Damage onto Walker should be the first Walker, not the first Walker, but another Walker going down here. 2 Walkers down.
Sharik tried to defend the urn drop, but is caught and cleaned up for his trouble by 2 one-win players. Buff Enjoyers, though, take the opportunity to push hard into lane 3 and are able to find a trade kill despite the soul deficit.
Self-Q inadvertently ends up body blocking Zergy. However, still a very low Viscous. Shriek, though, couldn't get away. Out comes in for extra support. Zergy, though, well farmed, the biggest threat for Buff Enjoyers right now. On a little bit of a chase down, going to the subway, says, no, I don't want this goo ball to get away this time. Just needs a little bit more, finishes off. Great tracking from Zergy. One
win team shows Xenon and Empty Dreams in the side lanes, so Buff Enjoyers make the call to engage. With the reinforcements arriving, however, Buff Enjoyers are forced to back away and lick their wounds while responding to lanes. One win team makes a decisive call to take mid boss.
Get a great opening engagement, but they come back in, and in fact with that, they're going to find a pickoff. And so now I feel like one winner maybe a little bit more in control of the fight.
It's a very aggressive shot call, but they have a window. Okay, they just go mid. I was gonna say, I was gonna set it up grandly. No, they just say we are going mid. Grandly isn't a word, by the way, but it doesn't matter. This could be the key point. Rejuvenator coming on down. Zanya, Shadow Transformation, can use it if necessary. Gonna use it to try and secure. Meanwhile, Obikin dropping the Frozen Shelter, delaying, giving Buff Enjoyers a chance to kill people on the outside. Rejuvenator going on down. Who's gonna get it? It's Zanya. Finishes off the Rejuvenator, picks up for 1 win, and gets kill cleanup on top of it.
Mikhails gets a swap onto Xania as they try to burst him down, but the Ethereal Shift and Shadow Transformation buy just enough time for backup to arrive, and one win takes Shrines and Patron.
This is precisely what Buff Enjoyers have been looking for. Opening up with a paradoxical swap, it's definitely looking like a good opening here, ZP.
Well, it's responded with the shift in the Shadow Transformation. Zanya might be able to get away. Zanya's really low. But Zanya doesn't go down. Listic, I think, overcommits trying to go for it. Dies to Empty Dreams instead. Frozen Shelter down. And 2 extra members of Buff Enjoyers going down. One win. Have yet to use any of the Rejuvenators. It was Zanya just barely able to get away. Off the soul advantages. Empty Dreams. 31k is just mowing people down, Dan.
Yeah, that is not exactly how you want the fight to go if you're Buff Enjoyers. It looked like they could finally get an engagement more maybe on their terms, but every time that happens, I feel like smart positional play from one win, they kind of redefine the fight in their own favor.
Aggressive shot calling is something one win team do not lack. As Buff Enjoyers try to run the urn, one win smells blood in the water and makes the call to rush down the weakened Patron.
Here for Buff Enjoyers, and we're going to get a re-hit from one win. They're going to be going straight into the Patron. They're just ending it, ZP. They're going to end the game right here, right now. No messing around, bursting it down. The health is melting. It's dwindling quickly. It's not much time. The Frozen Shelter will come online to try to delay things just a moment longer. But is it going to do the intended effect? Sharik is going to have a couple kills there, so maybe yes, the Frozen Shelter is clutch.
The all-in from one win does not bear fruit. Buff Enjoyers just barely fend it off.
With a pickoff onto Kelvin, one win see another opportunity to finish the game and push for a second attempt on Buff Enjoyers' weakened Patron.
Game, they're going to be okay, but they're going to be hitting the front of the base pretty hard here off that initial pick, ZP.
Yeah, I mean, does one win just go to the well again? Obikin's down for 15 seconds. There's no Frozen Shelter in play. Surely one win doesn't just die the Patron. Shriek's down. Shriek can't save him this time. One win now again into the base. Obikin 5 seconds up from being back into it. One win, Dan, looking to end it once more. Pressure in onto the Patron. Obikin is back up. Frozen Shelter can be used to delay once more. One win, though, they have to be careful. Xenon's just getting pummeled. Fluoride's getting pummeled. The HP is going down on all ends. Overseas barely escapes getting picked off. As Listic now in the hunt is Calico. Picks up 2. Buff Enjoyers still chasing down. One win might have just thrown away their lives again.
Off the back of another masterful base defense, Buff Enjoyers find themselves with their first major lead of the match and waste no time going for mid-boss.
Will OneWin be able to contest this mid-boss effectively? They're down Yamato. It's not the greatest idea, Dan, but they still look like they want a little bit of piece of mid-boss here. Are they gonna be able to get Shriek? Last stand all over it. Fluoride, disruption with the goo ball. Who is going to get the Rejuvenator? It's D-Mob getting it for Buff Enjoyers. And even though 2 fall, they will be right back up courtesy of the Rejuvenator, Dan.
Oh, 4 kills going the way of OneWin. This is exactly what needs to happen if they reduce our rejuve. They've essentially reset.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. OneWin team makes a desperate play to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, and they make another attempt at the patron despite Buff Enjoyers' shortened Rejuvenator death timers.
Backdoor resistance. They are going in. Mikhail back up. Buff Enjoyers back to full strength. Empty Dreams, the biggest threat for OneWin, already down. They just have this patron lust, Dan, but it's not happening.
Keeping their composure despite the roller coaster match so far, Buff Enjoyers turn their successful defense into a clean take of OneWin team's shrines and drop the patron before falling back.
Absolutely undisputable advantage of OneWin has gone to the wayside off these patron all-in attempts that have not worked out. And now Buff Enjoyers, they don't crack under the pressure. They save their patron. They're about to get OneWin's patron.
Mikhails opens a fight with a swap onto Flammable's Ivy, and Buff Enjoyers flex their endgame teamfight strength and earn their shot at Paravision in the money match.
Coming through, oh my god, Ivy is getting just chunked. Flammable is just disintegrates, and that's a good opening here for Buff Enjoyers to start off the fight, but can they actually capitalize?
Well, right now, you've got Yamato just stuck in the frozen shelter. Nowhere to go. Icy and just decimated in the freezer. 2 down for OneWin. Now it's OneWin that must defend the patron. And you see the patron just getting absolutely melted. OneWin, you came so close, but it's Buff Enjoyers that take it in the end.
Well, this match was definitely one for the DFN history books. Despite struggling to close out their lead, OneWin team have put themselves on the map as a serious contender in Deadlock Fight Night. Make sure to check out how the rematch of the Maelstrom Masters concluded in the recap of the finals. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more Deadlock content.